Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the National Stars Nominating Contract pack that's been added recently on eFootball. I've done reviews already of the J-League and Brazilian League Nominating Contract packs. Those videos are live on the channel now if you want to check them out. And I'll be doing one more video on nominating contracts after this one where I give you my recommendations for the best value players in my opinion for 3, 4 and 5 star nominating contracts out of all these packs. And I'll also review the 2 new match pass players in that video. So before we get into looking at all these players, there's one thing I want to point out just in case any of you haven't already noticed this. But on these national team cards, for the first time, they now have a club affiliation. So they've got their clubs assigned on these cards. I've checked some of my existing cards from national teams, and they've not done it retrospectively. So I've not changed any existing cards. It just seems like it's this new batch, and hopefully it's going to be all the moving forward because it looks like that's going to mean these cards are usable in the league challenges that we get every week. So if that's the case, that's a massive upgrade. So if you didn't realize that, that looks like some very, very good news. So, with that said, we've got 6 players in here, all 5-star players. Let's have a look at who we've got, and we'll look at how we can train them. So, we'll start with Andrich from Leverkusen. So, first thing to note with this guy, he's got 2 positions, DMF and CMF. If you play him in his registered position, DMF, that playing style, box-to-box, might not suit you. For me personally, I like to play a double pivot of DMFs, and that playing style on at least one of the 2 DMFs that I use is okay for me. But if you play just one DMF, or if you like your DMFs to really just stay back and just literally be defensive midfielders and not run forward too much, that might not be the playing style for you. In which case, if you get this guy and use him, defensive instruction might be useful for you. Second thing to notice with this guy, skill-wise, he's lacking defensively. He's got fighting spirit and aerial superiority, but there's no interception. On a defensive midfielder, I'd quite like man marking, maybe his blocker as well. So a bit lacking in defensive skills, but the rest of his skills, long range drive, rising shots, first time shot, one touch pass, through passing, weighted pass, outside cut, low off the pass. He's got some lovely skills going forward, but they don't really marry up with his attributes. It's a strange one. They have put quite a few points on his defending, to be fair, but looking at the way his attributes are weighted, he's very physical and defensive, whereas his skills are very offensive. So it's an interesting one, this one. I'm going to show you how I would train him for the 2 positions that he's got. The first thing I would look at in terms of retraining him, I think it's pretty obvious. He is absolutely shite on the ball. That's a big concern. So we're going to need some more points on dribbling, even if he's playing as a defensive midfield. We'll go to the maximum game plan boost. So assume you've got an 88 rated manager, this is how good you can get him. And in terms of retraining him, even at defensive midfield, what would I do? I'd sneak a couple away from passing. How can we get his dribbling? That's the main question. We can take a couple away from his defensives, I think. As long as the awareness is 80, I think that's okay. We'll do that for now. In fact, his tackling dips below 90. That's a bit of a shame. Can nick one from there. He's still at 90 stamina, which is great. What else would he do? Okay, get up to 9 now dribbling. Nick one from there, and then we can get the defending back up to 12. So there. That is what I would personally do if I'm going to play this guy as a defensive midfielder. So he's still very strong defensively. The awareness could be better, but it's still decent enough at 81. But these other defensive attributes there, defensive engagement 97, aggression 98, super aggressive, and 90 tackling as well. So defensively, you've got some great attributes. On the ball, we've at least got him up to 80 on ball control. He's clearly not a dribbler. Tight possession, not brilliant, but could be worse. We've improved that a bit. The passing, with a maximum game plan boost, 84 is not brilliant, but it's a bit better. And on the right here, he's not the quickest. As I mentioned, he's a physical guy, but he's not the most athletic. He's not got great pace. He's not got much balance at all. But in terms of his physical strength, great going up to 90 there. Great kicking power as well, and stamina at 90. So as a defensive midfielder, and he's got a lot of qualities, but as I mentioned with the skills, if you play him as a defensive midfielder, you're going to really need to put 1 or 2 skills on him. I'll start with interception. I'll consider maybe his man marking, maybe his blocker as well. But if you put 1 or 2 skills on him, I think he could be a very effective defensive midfielder. And after his other position, if you play him as a centre midfielder, box-to-box centre midfielder, you don't need as much on his defensive. So first thing we'll do, we'll take a bunch off the defending. How low will we take this? Go down just to there. We'll keep his engagement at the 90 mark. So we'll go 5 on defending. Don't need that. He's already very physically strong. We need more dexterity. We definitely need more dexterity. What else do we need? Gets finishing up to 70, yeah. I think for a centre midfielder, I'd do that. So, you made him a bit tidier on the ball. Passing is up a bit. Got his finishing up to 70. He does have some shooting skills down here. Long range drive, rising shots, first time shot. Defensive awareness is obviously lower now that we're not playing a defensive midfield, but we've still got some very nice attributes on the other defensive attributes there. Pace a bit better. Got the acceleration up to 70 and the balance up to 70 as well. We did definitely needed some dexterity. I don't know if he's going to play as a box-to-box centre mid. Still physically strong. Stamina great as well. Yeah, I think he's pretty usable as a centre mid. I think on the whole, and just to mention as well, we've had one previous version of Andrich that was from like a Leverkusen club selection a long time ago. That went up to, I think, 92. This one is significantly better. But yeah, on the whole, it depends how you train him. You could make him a usable DMF or usable centre mid. Is he amazing? No. But he does have qualities. I think what it comes down to is if you like this guy, you want to pick him up. I think for a 5-star contract, to make him worthwhile, you would need to put at least interception on him. Maybe he's on to other skills on him. And then either as a DMF or a CMF, he might not be amazing. Certainly isn't on a kind of elite level midfielder, but he could be very usable. And the other thing to note as well is that if you've checked in game, he's had a face update and he's got an excellent beard. But yeah, in all seriousness, not amazing. There's 1 or 2 concerns there, but ultimately as a DMF or CMF, if you like the guy, he could be usable. He could be decent value for a 5-star contract. So next we have the Arrascaeta from Flamengo. I like this guy. I've got a version of him which I got from a Brazilian league pack. Mine is a whole player. He's a creative playmaker now. I think they changed his regular card a while back because there's been 1 or 2 previous versions of whole players, but he seems to be a creative playmaker moving forward. That obviously comes down to personal preference, but I personally much prefer the whole player playing style, so I'm going to be sticking with the version I've got. But if you like that playing style, he's good. I like him. There's only one real downside with this guy, and that's his speed. He's a bit on the slow side, only 71 with all his training points allocated. If we go to that boost, we'll show you the maximum available boost. Speed still only at 73, so like I say, that is a concern. He's not got great stamina. If we have a quick look at the skills, he is a super sub. So with poor stamina, it might be that this guy's best is a super sub. Bringing him on second half. You see if you can kind of unlock your opponent's defense, trying to get a goal in the second half. He does have some nice skills there. A couple of skill moves, long range drive, accurate finishing, pinpoint crossing. Don't think he's going to be popping up on the right hand side very often as a right footer, so he'd be looking to turn inside onto his right foot if he's playing on the left. Otherwise, yeah, I don't see him putting many crosses in, but outside curves, nice though off the pass. There are 2 skills he really needs for the type of player that he is. He needs one-touch pass, he needs through passing. I think if you're going to get this guy and use him regularly, it would be well worth trying to put those skills on him. But in terms of his attributes, as you can see, apart from his speed, he's got a lot of qualities, this guy. In terms of how I train him, I don't think I would change a great deal. I think I'd like to get his speed up a little bit. So the question is, where can we get some points from elsewhere to put his speed up? We can nick one from finishing, and we're still at the 80 mark. What else would we do? Nick one from passing, and then low pass is still at the 90 mark. Nick one from there, and we still get the 80 acceleration. What have we got? 5 points. There's 2 on lower body. And there's 1 there on defending. I'll take that back. Thank you very much. And then we get another 1 on his speed. So, yeah, not a big difference, but we do get his speed up by a few. You're still 90 plus in all these technicals down here. He's lovely on the ball. He's got really nice passing, but like I say, one-touch pass and through passing are really well worth putting on him to make the most of his passing ability. 80 finishing is nice on a guy who's either going to be an attacking mid or an SS. I wouldn't personally use him wide left. Even if you put a bunch of points on his lower body, his speed still doesn't go high enough for me to make him a wide midfielder. But as an AMF or an SS, like I say, lovely on the ball, great passing, the finishing is good. Offensive awareness at 85 is really nice on an attacking midfielder. Even though the speed's not brilliant, acceleration at 80, he's not the slowest either. Kicking power is good at 88. Balance 91 is fantastic. As I mentioned, the stamina's not brilliant. So he's either going to get tired if you start him, or you can bring him on as a super sub. I like this guy. He's all about the technical ability. Like I say, the version I've got is lovely on the ball. He does have nice passing, even without one-touch passing, through passing. But it's worth putting those on him, I think, if you're going to really get the most out of this guy. Yeah, and then it just comes down to the play style, really. If you've got a previous version of him, like I have, the whole player, you might not like this one. But if you prefer a creative playmaker to a whole player, fantastic. And if you've not got a version of him at all, I think it's well worth considering him. For a 5-star nominating contract, I think it just comes down to the speed as one of these players. He's got the technical ability. If you like a bit of speed on an attacking midfielder, he might not be a cup of tea. But if you don't mind him not being the quickest, he's certainly well worth considering, because for the technical ability he's got, he could be a very nice card for a 5-star contract. And now we have a goalkeeper. So we've got Gulácsi from Hungary. This is an interesting one. So the first thing you notice with his attributes, 90 goalkeeper awareness before the game plan boost, and that's fantastic. Catching and parrying aren't brilliant. The reach is decent, and he's tall as well. It's about 6'2", 6'2.5", something like that. But there's one concern here. For a 5-star goalkeeper, 81 reflexes is absolutely horrible. I've got a bunch of 3-star goalkeepers, and none of them are that low. I don't think any of my 3-star keepers go below about 84, 85, so that's a big concern. So let's just get straight to it. Game plan boost. How good can we get? And we can scrimp a few points from his awareness there, and we'll still hit the 90 mark. So we'll take a few off there. Still at 90. He's a tall guy. We don't need that much jumping. And obviously, according to Konami, as we know from the Player of the Week cards, goalkeepers don't need to be able to jump. So that frees up 10 points. Where's the reflexes? Shove more straight on there. And we, to be honest, we can nick a couple from there. Can't quite make it to the 90 mark. That's a shame. I'm going to stick one back on aerial, make him 80 for jumping. So yeah, I would do that. Personally, I think that's better. I don't care what rating the game gives him with my build. I would never recommend building a player just to get his overall rating as high as you can. Build a player to be as good as you want him to be with the way that you play the game. And for me personally, I mean, there's not really much involved in the way you play the game when it comes to goalkeepers, but still, reflexes 81 was horrible. And with the game plan boost, even, what was it, like 83? And now we're up to 89. I think it's worth improving that. Even if the awareness goes down a bit, we're still at 90. Catching's pretty good at 86. Parrying at 80 is not brilliant, but it could be worse. Reach of 85 with the game plan boost. It would have been higher if we hadn't changed the points around, but he's a tall guy. Got 80 for jumping. I think he's reachy enough. I think ultimately that's hard building, but to be honest, even if I got him and I built him like that, I don't think he's that brilliant. I think it's just one of these cards where, is he a good card? He's decent. He's definitely not a bad card, but the question is with these players, is it worth using a 5-star nominating contract on him? If you're a fan of one of the teams he's played for, if you're from Hungary, yeah, he might be. If you've got that kind of emotional reasons want to pick him up, but if you don't have those kinds of reason for wanting to pick this guy up and put him in your squad, I don't think he's quite great value for a 5-star nominating contract personally. But he's not bad by any means. I just don't think for a 5-star contract it's really going to be worth picking this guy up. And now we have Kiwior from Arsenal. So he goes to a similar level to previous versions that we've had of Kiwior. And he's got 3 positions. We'll look at him as a centre-back first, because that's really his best position. So as a centre-back, looking at the attributes, he looks pretty solid. And I'm going to go straight to the game plan boost to see how the maximum boost you can get on him. And to be honest, he looks pretty nice. You know, these defenses all 90 plus. On the right here, the pace is decent enough. Jumping could be better. It's not too bad though. He's about 6'2". So 84 jumping, 6'2". Not bad. We'll check his skills in a second though. Physical contact's good at 89. Stamina's very good at 88 for centre back. And he's got a bunch of attributes here that are 70 plus down his technicals. So based on the attributes, this is actually a really nice looking centre back. But I mentioned his skills. He doesn't have many. That is the big problem with this guy. Blocker, very nice skill to have. Slide and tackle, okay, that's a nice one. Where's the rest? Big problem. So if you're going to pick this guy up, you are going to need to put skills on him, whatever position you use him in. As a centre-back, I think interception, man marking, area superiority, that'd be the first 3 I put on him. You probably need to put 1 or 2 others on as well, but certainly those 3, you desperately need those if you want to get this guy and make the most of him. If you do put the relevant skills on him as a centre-back, I think it could be really, really nice. Well worth picking up for a 5-star contract. But without those skills, I don't think I would touch him. But looking at the other 2 positions he's got, can he play left back? Can he play DMF? To be honest, I don't think it'd be worthwhile. As a left back, if you took a whole bunch of points away from defending, you've got to be trying to get his speed up. That's the most important thing. So you don't need all that physical. How good can we make him technically? I mean, not very. That's about as good as you can make him as a left back. You start with defensive instruction on him, he could do a job as a defensive fullback, but to be honest, for a 5-star nominating contract, bearing in mind how good he could be as a centre back, I don't think it's really worthwhile. And again, he's lacking skills as a fullback. But yeah, if you really wanted a left back, could maybe do a job if you're desperate, but ultimately, like I say, for a 5-star contract, bearing in mind how good he can be as a centre back, I think that'd be a bit of a waste putting him there. And if you're going to play him as a defensive mid, the build would be pretty similar. And I think it's even more of an issue, the lack of technical ability. 74 low pass on a defensive midfielder, no thank you. Absolutely nowhere near high enough. And he's horrible on the ball as well. So yeah, this guy is definitely going to be a centre back, I think. And as I said earlier on when I started speaking about this guy, it comes down to the skills. If you don't put any skills on him, sure, he'll be decent. He's got some very good attributes, but he will come up short in certain situations. But if you are willing to put the skills on him, I think for a 5-star nominating contract with those relevant skills, he could be a really, really nice centre-back. Next up, we have Diogo Jota from Liverpool. So this is probably one of the better versions of Jota that we've had. He's down as a left winger. There have been a bunch of different player styles on this guy. I think we've had a deep lying forward version, probably been a prolific winger, one or two others even maybe. But this guy's a roaming flank, and that playing style will be actively playing on the left, either left midfield or as a wing forward. He's pretty decent, to be honest. The passing's a bit of a concern. If you're playing him wide left, the rest of the attributes are pretty good. If we hit that game plan boost, see how good we can get him. See, he has some very nice attributes. So he's very nice in the ball. He can be nippy with that acceleration, the balance. You can nick one from dribbling. Get that on his passing. The question is, how good can he get his passing? Some people won't mind the passing being low. That's fine. That's up to you. I'll just give you my opinions. You can nick one from shooting as well, actually. Get his passing up by another one. What else would you do? Where could you scrimp points from? I'm not sure anywhere. Oh, they put one on defending. I'll take that back. Thank you very much. I'll stick it straight on shooting. That's about all I do really if I'm playing this guy wide left. And he's pretty good. Like I say, he's going to be nippy. He's got decent speed. He's got good acceleration. Kicking power is good as well at 90. 90 balance, 90 plus on all those on the ball attributes. Very good offensive awareness coming off the left flank. The passing, like I say, is not brilliant, but it could be worse. He's got pretty decent finishing at 81. Heading as well at 81. Jumping 78. He's not a big guy, but with a bit of jumping and 81 heading, he might pop up with a couple of headers for you. You never know. In terms of the skills, though, he's got a few skill moves. Self control is nice. Acrobatic finishing, but in terms of the end product, that's the concern. I think if you get this guy, you plan to use him, I would first look to put probably through passing on him. I think long range curler would be a good one as well. I think through passing and long range curler are the two I'd start by putting on this guy. Coming off that left flank, being able to pass and certainly be able to hit those curlers into the far corner. I think those are the two skills that are most important if you really want to make the most of this guy. He does have some good attributes, and like I say, it's one of the better versions of Jota that we've had, so it could be a pretty good card if you like this guy. He can also play through the middle. I don't think I'll change too much on his build if you're playing an SS, but as a centre forward, first things first, I would still look at through passing and long range curler, but you would definitely need first time shot. You always need that in the centre forward. It's very important. So first time shot is a skill, very important at centre forward. But in terms of the way his points are allocated, obviously he needs a bit more on his finishing. So what we're going to take away, dribbling definitely we can take a bit away. If we just take all of those away initially, and then can we get his finishing up? We'll get up to 88. Right, dexterity. Up to 11. Take a bit away from his speed. How many points have we got? We'll get his physical up to 70. Maybe do something like that as a centre forward. So we get his offensive awareness up to 90, which is great. He's still 80 plus on the ball, all of these. Bearing in mind this is a centre forward, so it doesn't need to be able to dribble quite as well as a centre forward. Passing at least gets up to 70 on low pass. Finishing up to 88. He's still got nice pace, very good acceleration. Still got good kicking power, great balance. Got that physical up to 70, jumping up to 81. Yeah, I think as a centre forward, he could be good as well. I think you've got two ways you could use this guy. I think you would need one or two skills, whichever way you use him, whether it's down the left, whether it's up front. If you like this guy, if you're a Liverpool fan, if you're Portuguese, I think with one or two skills, this guy could represent pretty good value for a 5-star contract. So whichever way you use him, left or through the middle, pretty good card. And we finish up with Jared Bowen. So pretty similar to Diogo Jota really, because he can play out wide or through the middle. Bowen's obviously a left footer and he plays on the right as opposed to the left. But we've got two ways you can use this guy. So we're going to start looking at him as a wide right player. Like with Jota, he is a roaming flank. So he'll be drifting inside quite a lot, taking up some interesting positions. I quite like that playing style on wide man. I don't know if I'd change a great deal with the way his points are allocated. We'll go straight to that game plan boost. See how good we can get him. So got some nice attributes, a lot in the high 80s. Would I change much? I'm going to tweak it just for the hell of it. Let's see. We don't need the passing to be too high. We'll still hit the 80 mark on the passing. Likewise, the shooting. We'll keep his finishing at least at 80. That's freed up 4 points. If I remember rightly, yeah, they put one on defending. Thank you very much. Take that back. What else are we going to do? We're going to do that. Yes. That 1 point spare, still got shooting. So we can get his ball control and his dribbling past the 90 mark. His acceleration at 90, balance at 95. I like the look of this guy. So there's been 1 or 2 previous versions of Bowen in the game, but I don't think he's gone past about 93. This guy goes up to 95. Obviously with the game plan boost, we're getting up to 98. You can go 99 apparently. But yeah, this is the best version of Bowen that we've had on the game. And it's nice. Like I say, I mean, the speed's not exactly electric, but it's decent at 84, but the acceleration is good at 90, balance at 95, and with those attributes on the ball with a 91 and 90 there on ball control and dribbling, he's going to be pretty nice on the ball. Excellent offensive awareness for a wide man. The passing and low and lofted pass, they're not brilliant, but they're decent for a wide man, very decent. And finishing likewise at 81. Great stamina as well at 94. Looking at the skills he's got some pretty nice skills, to be fair. He's got first time shot, he's got through passing, pinpoint crossing, outside curl is a nice one. I think the one skill you want to put on this guy is long range curler. Especially if you play him on the right hand side, long range curler for this guy I think would really complete him, make him a really, really nice option on the right. And he's already a really nice option. I think he's very nice as a right winger. But long range curler being added to his skills, I think would complete him. It could make him really fantastic. So yeah, especially with long range curler, but even without it, I think very nice on the right hand side. But as I mentioned, you can use this guy 2 ways. You can use him through the centre as well. So how good can we make him as a centre forward? First things first, you don't need as much on his passing and dribbling as centre forward. We'll take all those points initially and get his shooting up to 90. And get his attacking awareness up to 90 as well. Interesting. How many points? Got 4 points left. Where are we going to put them? All on dribbling. I'll do that. Now that is interesting to me. Bear in mind, as we saw with his skills there, he's got first time shot. I would add long range curler still, but he's got first time shot. He's also got acrobatic finishing. He's got through passing, outside curls, a neat one to have. He's got good skills for a centre forward with good pace, especially the acceleration, and fantastic balance, and still 94 on his stamina. But now we've got his attacking awareness up to 90. His finishing is 90. Passing's decent at centre forward. And he's not as good on the ball. Obviously, now we're training him as a striker, but he's still 80 plus in all 3 of these. This guy is really nice as a striker, you know. I like the look of him. He will be playing without an active playing style because he's a roaming flank. So he won't have an active playing style as centre forward. If you don't like that, then it might put you off him. I don't personally mind it. It'd be interesting to see how he plays because, like I say, with these attributes, as a nippy centre forward with really good awareness and finishing, I think it looks really, really nice. I'm quite tempted. I think I'm probably going to get this guy, to be honest. So, yeah. As with Diogo Jota, you've got a guy who can play out wide or through the middle, and whichever way you train him, wherever you use him, could be very nice. And with this guy, I think the only skill you really need to put on him is long range curler, and whether you use him through the middle or wide right with that skill, and even without it, I think it could be fantastic. So yeah, this for me is probably the pick of the bunch. I think it could be a really nice card to pick up for a 5-star nominating contract. So there you go, only 6 players in this pack. I think there are some decent ones. Andrich is not amazing, but you could train him to be pretty usable as a DMF or CMF. Kiwior, I think the only position where he's really usable is centre-back, but I think at centre-back, if you give him a few of the skills that he desperately needs, he could be a really nice centre-back, but he does really need those skills. Gulácsi, not overly excited about him. He could be usable, but for a 5-star contract, I don't think I'll be rushing to pick him up. Arrascaeta, I think he's very nice. I'm not as keen on his play style now as a creative playmaker, but if you like that playing style, I think he's well worth considering because the versions I've had of him have been very nice. And then got 2 guys who can be usable out wide or through the middle. It could be very effective. I think Diogo Jota is very good, but Bowen for me is the pick of the pack. Really nice card. So yeah, a small selection, but an interesting one for your 5-star contracts this time around. So like I say, there will be one more video on nominating contracts where I give you my recommendations for 3, 4 and 5-star nominating contracts out of all the 3 packs that we've looked at. And I'll also in that video be reviewing the 2 new match pass players, Luis Diaz and Nkunku from Chelsea. So keep your eyes out for that last video, and then there'll be 1 or 2 more videos and more packs and maybe more player face videos as well coming up. So cheers for watching as always. Hopefully you found that useful. I'll see you soon.